Disclaimer: all objects used in this video that represent weaponry or illegal material are props used for entertainment purposes. February 25th, 2019. Eurofient responded to 1646 West 45th Street to conduct a murder investigation. Upon arrival, Eurofient learned that the victim, Adrian Denard Gaynor, had been shot multiple times. The victim was pronounced deceased at the scene. Evidence technicians with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office processed the homicide scene, recovered a total of 45 shell casings consistent with being fired from a rifle. The casings spanned from just before the gazebo area, where the victim was originally located when the shooting began, and through the apartment complex to where the victim's body was located. The investigation revealed that the deceased victim and the living victim were sitting at the gazebo in the courtyard of the complex. They were both looking down at the deceased victim's cell phone when they began hearing gunfire. The living victim stated that he and the deceased victim began running away both in separate directions. The living victim described the sound of the gunfire to be consistent with the Draco AR pistol. During the investigation, Eurofient learned of a witness who was present for the murder. The witness stated that he was contacted by Hakeem Robinson, who said he was coming to pick up the witness to check out some drug houses in the 45th Street area. Robinson picked the witness up in a green or gray Nissan Maxima with Leroy Whitaker. When the witness got into the car, Whitaker and Robinson had on gloves. Robinson told him that the car was stolen. The witness put on gloves as well. They then went to Brentwood and picked up another individual known to him as Rollo. Rollo got into the driver's seat. Robinson got into the back seat behind the driver. Whitaker sat in the front passenger seat, and the witness sat in the back passenger seat. They then drove to the 45th Street area where they saw Adrian Gaynor, known to the witness as Bibby, on a side street near Hilltop Apartments. The witness said they drove around the 45th Street area for a while before Robinson asked Rollo to drive to Hilltop Apartments. They drove into Hilltop and drove from one side to another. They parked for approximately 20 minutes at one spot. While driving around, Whitaker saw the living victim and Bibby under a gazebo. Whitaker and Robinson exited the vehicle carrying firearms. Whitaker had a long AR-style rifle and Robinson had an AR pistol. Rollo then drove around to the parking lot closest to the gazebo. The witness saw Whitaker chasing and shooting at the living victim. He also saw Robinson chasing and shooting at Bibby. Bibby fell to the ground and covered his head with his hands. The witness said that Bibby fell to the ground approximately 5 to 10 yards from their car. Robinson ran up to Bibby and shot him at close range in the back of the head or neck as Bibby continued trying to shield himself. The witness said that Bibby was wearing tan pants and a dark-colored hoodie or jacket. Whitaker and Robinson then got into the car and they fled the apartment complex. Surveillance video was obtained from Hilltop Apartments. The surveillance video shows the victims entering the apartment complex. Bibby is dressed in tan pants and a dark-colored hoodie or jacket. The surveillance video also shows a gray or silver Nissan Maxima enter the complex about 30 minutes before the murder occurs and leave right after. The witness stated that Robinson and Whitaker were both shooting AR-style firearms, which is consistent with the shell casings found at the scene as well as the living victim's account of events. Additionally, after the murder, Robinson has posted several photographs and videos bragging about the murder of Bibby. On 1/15/2020, at 1100 hours, Officer J.L. Collins with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office observed an unknown suspect at 7001 Merrill Road standing over and shooting the male victim, later identified as Charles McCormick, with a rifle. The male victim died as a result of the gunshot wounds he sustained. Eurofient was on call with the homicide unit and was dispatched to the incident. McCormick's death was ruled a homicide by the medical examiner's office. Multiple witnesses were located who witnessed the incident and saw the suspect who shot the male victim get into a gray sedan determined to be a Nissan Altima, which then sped away from the shopping plaza. Officer Collins, who was driving his marked sheriff's office vehicle, pursued the gray Nissan Altima and activated his emergency lights. The gray Nissan Altima fled at a high rate of speed and ultimately crashed in the 1200 block of Townsend Boulevard residential neighborhood. After the vehicle crashed, 3 suspects exited the vehicle and fled on foot. One suspect, described by Officer Collins as a black male carrying a rifle, fled west through the neighborhood, while 2 additional suspects, both black males, fled east on foot. Officer Collins pursued the single suspect west on foot but was not able to apprehend him. Note: the suspect vehicle was listed as stolen under at the time of the incident. At approximately 1108 hours, a female victim was inside her residence at approximately 200 yards away from the crash location when she encountered 2 unknown black males inside her residence. The female victim stated that she attempted to flee the residence upon seeing the suspects, however the suspects grabbed her and dragged her to the ground. The female victim stated that a physical struggle ensued in which one of the suspects attempted to strangle her. The female victim ultimately succumbed to the suspects, who forced her to sit on a couch in the living room of the residence while they changed into clothing they took from her husband's closet. The suspects took the female victim's cellular telephone to prevent her from calling for help. According to the female victim, one of the suspects placed a phone call on his cellular phone and requested that someone pick them up from the residence. Due to identifying information gathered from the female victim regarding the suspect who attempted to choke her, specifically certain tattoos and their location on his body, detectives were able to put together a photo lineup with the potential suspect. The potential suspect was Dominic Barner and his photo was included in the photo spread presented to the female victim. The female victim picked Dominic Barner out of the photo spread as one of the males who came into her home without permission, battered her and took property. An arrest warrant was then obtained and Dominique Barner was arrested for home invasion. Dominique Barner has been housed in a pretrial detention facility since his arrest. During the murder investigation, Eurofiant reviewed video taken from a witness who had a dash cam installed in his vehicle. The dash cam captured the murder on video. On one of the dash cam clips, the suspect vehicle is seen arriving at the location of the murder. The face of the driver can partially be seen, and the driver appears to be a younger black male, no facial hair, wearing a black hood on his head. Note the driver in the video matches the description of Dominique Barner. Another video clip depicts the actual murder of Charles McCormick. The male victim can be seen wearing a black hoodie, blue shirt under the hoodie, and white wash jeans. The male victim exits a business with a folder in his hand. The male victim then exits the frame of the video for approximately 6 seconds. In that time, the truck with the dash cam plays music. However, a single gunshot can be heard over the music. The male victim can then be seen being chased by a suspect wearing a black and gray hoodie, a black head cover, gray sweatpants, and gray shoes, carrying a short rifle. The male victim is subsequently gunned down by the suspect wearing the hoodie. The shooter then runs back the way he came and gets inside the vehicle that he arrived in, and the vehicle flees the area. The witness, whose vehicle had the dash cam, attempts to follow the suspect vehicle, but Officer J.L. Collins cuts off the witness and gets behind the suspect vehicle. The marked patrol vehicle follows the suspect vehicle, and the witness is unable to follow. Officer J.L. Collins pursued the vehicle, which fled at a high rate of speed, until it crashed in 1200 block of Townsend Boulevard, where the 3 occupants exited and fled on foot. While Dominique Barner was in the pretrial detention facility, detectives were able to meet with a confidential informant inside of the PTDF. The CI was given a covert recording device and asked to record Dominique Barner if he began talking about the homicide. The CI was able to obtain recorded statements Dominique Barner made about the homicide, and these recordings have been reviewed. On the recordings, Dominique Barner can clearly be heard talking about the details of his involvement in the ultimate murder of the male victim Charles McCormick. Dominique Barner also indicated that he discovered the male victim's address on Core. Dominique Barner admitted that he, along with other individuals, then went to the male victim's residence where they were able to locate the male victim. Dominique Barner also indicated that he was driving, and when the male victim left his residence, they followed the male victim to the shopping center located at 7001 Merrill Road. Dominique Barner made statements on the recording that indicated the purpose of following the male victim was to kill him. It was at the shopping center located at 7001 Merrill Road, where the male victim was ultimately shot and killed by a person that had been in the car with Dominique Barner. On the recording, Dominique Barner could also be heard discussing his actions and attempting to evade law enforcement after the murder, fleeing in the vehicle. Dominique Barner could also be heard saying that a rifle was left behind in the vehicle. A search warrant was obtained for the vehicle that fled from law enforcement after the murder, and an AR-style rifle and a handgun were both located inside the vehicle. The handgun recovered from the vehicle had a fingerprints on it which belongs to Hakeem Robinson. A white t-shirt was also obtained during the search of the vehicle, which was sent to FDLE toward DNA testing. A hair found on the t-shirt was processed by FDLE and was positively identified as belonging to Hakeem Robinson. Hakeem Robinson has an active Instagram account with the Instagram name of Ksoo 23 times. Hakeem Robinson has various pictures posted on this account, identifying himself and also depicting firearms. On 1/15/2020 and approximately 1,354 hours, the Ksoo 23 times account posted a video to the account's Instagram story of a child singing a song entitled Ksoo Homicide by rapper Youngin Ace. The child can be heard singing the pre-chorus part of Dum 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 Dum, Man Down, Dum 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 Dum, Man Down. The video was posted after the murder of Charles McCormick. On 1/19/20, on the Instagram page Ksoo 23 times, Hakeem Robinson posted a video of the deceased, Charles McCormick, rapping. The posted video contained the caption "Bye-bye" with waving hand emojis. Hakeem Robinson later posted a video to his story, which depicted Hakeem Robinson at a nail salon receiving a pedicure with the caption "Kill a nigga then go get my toes done." On 8/27/2020, I interviewed Dominique Barner. Barner stated that he was driving the Nissan Altima on 1/15/2020 and that Leroy Whitaker and Hakeem Robinson were both in the vehicle with him. Barner indicated that collectively they were looking for Charles McCormick, with the specific intent of killing him. Barner advised that they located Charles McCormick at his residence, and Barner admitted that he drove both Hakeem Robinson and Leroy Whitaker in the silver Nissan Altima as they followed Charles McCormick from his home to 7001 Merrill Road. Barner also advised that originally, Hakeem Robinson and Leroy Whitaker were both going to kill Charles McCormick. Capital B. Barner stated that he had a handgun, Hakeem Robinson had an AR pistol, and Leroy Whitaker had an AR rifle. Once they followed Charles McCormick to the shopping center at 7001 Merrill Road, they waited for him to exit the business he entered. Barner stated that Hakeem Robinson picked up the handgun inside the vehicle prior to Charles McCormick exiting the business. According to Barner, the reason Hakeem Robinson wanted to kill Charles McCormick was because Charles McCormick made the song which talked despairingly about Willie Addison, who is deceased. Barner advised when Charles McCormick came out of the business, Hakeem Robinson jumped out of the rear passenger seat and chased Charles McCormick down and shot him with an AR pistol. Barner advised he and Leroy Whitaker stayed in the vehicle, and Leroy Whitaker yelled at Barner, telling him to pick up his cousin Hakeem Robinson after he shot and killed Charles McCormick. Barner stated he drove in the direction Hakeem Robinson ran to pick him up. Barner said Hakeem Robinson then got back into the vehicle and they fled the scene in the Nissan Altima. They were pursued by a JSO patrol car and crashed in a neighborhood. Barner advised that he and Leroy Whitaker ran the same direction and entered a residence. Barner stated while inside, both he and Leroy Whitaker held a woman captive while Leroy Whitaker made phone calls to arrange a way to evade being captured by the police. Barner advised Leroy Whitaker was eventually able to arrange for Abdul Robinson Sr. to pick them up. Barner advised that Abdul Robinson Sr. arrived and picked them both up and got them out of the area, while the police were still looking for them.
Exclusive. That's it.
I be in my cell all day. Niggas like, oh, you come out at 24-hour lockdown. Like, real, like, I'm like that. You couldn't get straight. You couldn't come from straight off stage, rapping, being a rapper, to going in the cell 24 hours a day and, like, don't be complaining about it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You would be calling a nigga crying.
Hey, how that shit go? You said, yeah, man.
I was on no phone. I was on no phone when I first got in here, like, just chilling. Like, I wasn't even tripping about it. Like, feel me?
Yeah.
You can't break nobody like me. Like, I done been through the struggle all my life.
Yeah.
See, but when I come about this motherfucker.
Exclusive.